Hey everyone, it's your girl Deborah from Let's Get Real About Mental Health. So let's do a first couple of housekeeping issues. I had a lot of feedback on my grief series. Thank you so much for everyone that wrote in and said, how much it helped. To that one particular person who, again, I'm not going to give their name because they're just being a troll and saying awful things. To each his own, man. To each his own. And to the person who said, why are you encouraging people to stay in the grief cycle? I'm not encouraging that by any means. I am encouraging people to heal at their own pace, to giving them the ability to recognize where they're at and why they're feeling the things that you're feeling. And I think that's the important part, is if we recognize why we're feeling the way we are, we can recognize that we're in a place where we might need some help. And that was the full intent of all of my videos, is to give people knowledge, and hopefully other people will share their knowledge and we can, help each other out, which is the whole goal. So for today we're going to talk about self-sabotaging. So what is self-sabotaging? It is staying places that you're not happy, not believing that you can ever have any better, really setting yourself up for failure. Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we do this as part of our lack of self-esteem. Low self-esteem, lack of self-esteem, that is all of that is what causes self-sabotage. So now, when we're talking about self-sabotaging, you have to first talk about, like I said, what causes the low self-esteem. That can be many, many different things. First and foremost, abuse. Abuse is definitely, whether it be mental abuse, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, all of that creates low self-esteem, and it creates the mindset that we are not good enough. We had to have done something wrong in order for that person to react the way they did. Other little things that can cause it, and they're definitely forms of abuse. It's just that sometimes people won't recognize it. Being belittled when you're young and being told you're wrong, you're stupid, all of that kind of stuff. That is, even as an adult, if you get into a relationship where that person is constantly belittling you, you are definitely going to suffer from low self-esteem. The other one that is, especially for young children developing this as they develop into adults, so the person who is supposed to protect you, like your mom and dad, your guardians, whoever was, not protecting you, leaving you in horrible situations, leaving you in places where you feel out of control or not protected at all, not loved. That is all things that will cause low self-esteem. So what does self-sabotage look like? First and foremost, we neglect ourselves. Whether that be when we get into our bad depression sets, we don't do any self-care whatsoever, even physical self-care like bathing, that kind of stuff. That's neglecting yourself. Not taking time out for you, putting everybody else's needs before yourself. Okay. And I get it. I hear all you moms and dads out there screaming, wait a minute, my kids got to come first. Absolutely. I understand that mindset. I do. But there is a point in time in your day where you have to take like 5 minutes for yourself. Sit and have a cup of coffee. Sit and read a book if you can get that chance. You have to take take 5 minutes for yourself during the day. You're going to find that you have a much more refreshed attitude, and you're able to care for your children a lot better than if you burn yourself out completely by not taking that me time. Also with that is not staying someplace that you're not happy. And this could be in a job, it could be in a marriage, a relationship, any of those things. You stay there because you don't think you deserve any better, or you don't think that you'll ever get any better. Okay? You have to really start looking at being happy yourself, because you have to put your happiness first, because if you are not happy, you cannot create happy little people. Okay? You're not going to foster a happy environment for your children to grow up into. And we deserve to be happy. That's something we need to recognize. We absolutely do deserve to be happy. The other one that goes right along with this one is we are terrified of change. Terrified of change. When you're self-sabotaging, you'll say, I'm afraid of change. I just can't do it. Or I'm afraid of commitment. I can't do it. That's a fear of a change. And that is actually a form of self-sabotaging because we figure it's not going to turn out anyway. So why take the chance? Why? It's going to fail. No matter what we do, it's going to fail. So the other way that one can look is the fear of failure, straight out failure, fear of failure. And you're afraid that nothing's going to go right in your life. Nothing. You're afraid that anything you try you're going to be laughed at, belittled, told you're no good. For me personally, it manifests as I have a fear of being laughed at, and I have a fear of people talking behind my back and saying, oh, well, her paintings aren't good enough. Her artwork isn't good, but they'll say to my face, it's great. It's lovely. It's wonderful that you're doing that. But yet when they turn around like that is absolute crap. Or laughing at my attempt to do art, to better myself. I have a huge fear of that. And I know where it comes from. It comes from, like I said, it comes from a childhood, several childhood incidences where I was laughed at in a time where I was trying to express myself and I just got laughed at. So I learned to shut down and learned that my opinion or my wants are not valuable. They're not something that anybody else needs to hear about. The other thing that we do, and that falls really right in line with these other two that we talked about, is we procrastinate. Now, whether it's procrastinating in the fact that we do it consciously or unconsciously. If you do it consciously, you're given a deadline at work, say, for example, and you put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off, and then, you turn it in late. Well, chances are the reason that you put it off is because you knew it wasn't going to be any good. You figured nobody would like it, so why produce it? That's self-sabotaging. Procrastinating until you have to you start to take an area of your life and ditch it for getting this project ready. For example, studying for a test. You put it off, you put it off, you put it off. And then when it comes time, you have to study because it's like the night before the exam or whatever, and you're just starting to study. Well, you put off your health, you put off your own happiness, and you put off your own mental well-being because you procrastinated so far. And chances are, they say statistically, if you put off studying until the last minute, you're not going to do as well as you could have if you had been studying all along. So that, again, is another sign or symptom of self-sabotaging. We put everyone's happiness before our own. And that goes right back with the first one that I was saying. Everybody has to be happy and taken care of before you take care of your needs. And studies have found that is not a great way to do things. We have to prioritize ourselves, because frankly, if you're not going to prioritize yourself and you show that as your pattern, no one else is going to prioritize you. They're going to just figure, oh, she doesn't want that. Well, no, I want to be happy and I want to stop self-sabotaging. So I am going to prioritize my happiness. We undervalue everything that we do. We undervalue it. You could work super hard on this project. And they're like, wow, that looks really great. You're like, oh, I just threw it together. When the truth being, maybe you spent 5-6 hours on it and a ton of money to get this ready because you wanted other people to see how great it was and get this great experience. So we undervalue what we do. When I was a massage therapist, I would charge less money than I should have for my massages because I felt like they weren't that good. I was told constantly they were really good. I was making good money at what I did. But I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it myself because I didn't believe in myself because I have low self-esteem. So do you see where these are all starting to kind of circle back, and you can see where what you're displaying circles back to your low self-esteem, and then you go back to what caused your low self-esteem. The other thing we do is that we have what they call the skill and the will. We have the skills to do something. Okay? We have the will to do that. But oftentimes the skill to do it and the will to do it do not coincide in the same time frame. So we will set a goal, a big goal. Say we're going to get our bachelor's degree. You're going to go, and you're going to be doing great. And then towards the end, the skill and the will aren't going to be there anymore. You're not going to want to study. It's taking too much time. You come up with a reason not to finish that goal. And again, the reason for that is that we have I'm glad I can talk today. We have low self-esteem. And it is triggered. I mean, it shows up in so many different ways and so many aspects of our lives that if we don't stop and think about it, we're never going to realize how much it does affect us. With that one, there are several things that we can do. Is we can set smaller goals for ourselves instead of saying, "Hey, I'm going to go for my bachelor's degree, and that is my long-term goal." Make sure you set short-term goals as well. Well, this semester I'm going to take 3 classes and I want to get A's in all 3 classes. So when you do that, you now have reinforced your skill and will together, and you have also now reinforced the fact that you can do things. You're going to start raising your self-esteem. So really, honestly, when you look at self-sabotage, it is a complete circle. I mean, an absolute complete circle from where it starts to how you beat it. The one thing that I gave you all these things. We keep people in our lives that are toxic. So, but truly, when you look at somebody with low self-esteem, you're going to see, somebody who self-sabotages. You're going to see somebody, the lack of self-esteem is there. They could even be as bad as to have self-hatred. You could see worthlessness, incompetency, stupid, ugly, self-harming, suicide attempts. All of that stuff is ways that low self-esteem makes itself known in a person. And no 2 people are going to be alike, okay? No 2 reasons for having what causes the low self-esteem are going to be the same. Mine, and again, since I talk about my experiences a lot, mine comes from being laughed at as a child. It also comes from being not taken care of and not kept in a safe place as a child. And it comes from being in both my childhood and my adulthood in a relationship, being put second place to their addiction. In my case, it was alcohol. It was second when I was a child. It was second place because one of my parents I was a second place, and so was my sister because one of my parents was an alcoholic. In a relationship, when I asked that person to choose between the alcohol and me, that person chose alcohol. So you can see where this contributes to somebody who already had self-esteem. I also was in a very abusive marriage, not the one I'm in currently. And the belittling, the saying I'm fat. I was 7-8 months pregnant and I was told I was fat and ugly. So and you get told that over a year's time, it just starts to wear on you. And it wasn't until probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I started to realize how low my self-esteem was. And another way that my self-esteem, my low self-esteem affects my relationships is that I have been married for 20 years now, and I still believe that my husband has one foot out the door. And I'm working on it, people. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I believe he'll find somebody better, and I had a long time friend with benefits. I think he's been my friend for like 25 years. And I just never could believe that it was anything more than, he's going to go to his buddies and laugh and say, "Hey, I fucked the fat chick," or, she's a psycho, but she's an easy lay, that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you now, I know that's not the kind of man he is in my head. But due to all of the abuse and stuff that I suffered as a younger person, I struggle with this every single day. I really do. So now, when we're talking about conscious and unconscious self-sabotage, the best example I've ever read about it is, say a person is overweight and they want to lose some weight, and they're on a diet. And they do really good all day long, but then at night they go and eat half a tub of ice cream. That's a conscious act. It is. So you are consciously self-sabotaging your diet versus the person who is still dieting, still they're doing their exercises, they're eating right, but they have a medical condition that they need to take medication to help them lose weight. And they forget to take that medication a lot. That's unconsciously, because we're not consciously forgiving. We're not going to say, okay, today I'm not going to take my medicine. Okay. So I hope you can see the difference between, forgetting to do something and, well, you didn't forget, you were on a diet. Okay. You just went in and did it because you wanted it. And that's falls into another symptom of self-sabotage is lack of willpower. Yep, right here. Get your guilty here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I have no willpower whatsoever. It has gotten so bad at times that I will say, oh, I'm hungry. Ice cream sounds good. But then my brain, I fixate on ice cream. And I listen to myself for about 3 hours and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go eat some ice cream, So, there's so many different ways that self-sabotaging presents that you really have to start in order to break the cycle. The first thing you have to do is you have to admit that you're doing it. You have to look at yourself and go, what am I doing here? Am I really doing this to myself? Look at all the signs and symptoms I gave you, the causes, all of it, and ask yourself, am I doing this stuff? And you have to be brutally honest. You have to be brutally honest. Because if you are not, you could always make every situation seem like you're not that person because you're not being honest with yourself. And I know that sounds really harsh, you guys, but that's what I had to do with myself. I had to really sit down and have a long, hard, coming to Jesus talk with myself. Because if I did not start fixing the issues that I have with my mental health and everything like that, I was going to push everybody in my life away. Everyone, including my children, my husband, everybody. I was pushing everybody away. And when I started understanding that, and I'm like, oh gosh, yes, I self-sabotage all the time. So what do I have to do to stop that? And it's hard. It's so hard. You have to do things that we've always thought were, at least I always thought were like goofy hippie things, You have to meditate, and you have to meditate on things, like clearing your mind and being able to control those bad thoughts. Yeah. Okay. That's probably one of the hardest things you're ever going to have to do is control those bad thoughts because they just come so naturally after so many years, You have to spot check yourself. When you find yourself thinking bad things and you become aware of it, stop what you're doing, back it up. And you're like, now, wait a second. Did I really mean you look fat and ugly today? Is that what I really wanted to say to myself? No, what I wanted to say was, hey, you look good today. You're going to do good things today. Have a great day. And you need to start saying affirmations to yourself every single day. And I have to do this every morning when I wake up. And I actually make myself do it every time I look in the mirror because I hate looking in the mirror. Honestly, I do. Because that's another part of my self-sabotaging is that I don't believe I am pretty at all. I don't believe I'm beautiful. I don't believe that I am worth having in people's lives. So I tell myself every morning, and believe me, like I said, it's getting better. I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're beautiful, Deborah. You are a good person. You are a giving, loving person, and people will be lucky to have you in their lives. And that's what I have to say to myself every single time I look in the mirror, because I have to start seeing what I'm saying. I have to be able to look at myself and not go, oh, God, you're ugly. Oh, God, you're fat. You know what? I am overweight. But I can sit here today and I can tell you that I am the happiest I've been in my entire life. The happiest I've been. I'm 52 years old and I've done great things. I've had beautiful children, and I'm the happiest that I've ever been because I'm happier with myself. I really am. And for me, it took losing my best friend for me to make a wholehearted effort to stop the self-sabotaging. I've been working on it half-assed for years. But when I got the phone call from her daughter that she was gone, all I could think was, You just pissed away the best friend you've ever had because you couldn't think you were worthy of her friendship. And that's hard. It's a hard one to come to grips with, but I think the only thing that would make my life the best it's ever been, the absolute best, would be if she was still alive and I could tell her that today. I could tell her, hey, I am worthy of being your best friend and you are lucky to have me, because I never believed it. She always had to tell me, I'm lucky to have you in my life, Deb. And I'd think in my back of my head, honestly, I'd think, okay, yeah, whatever, you're just saying that. When I was so grateful for every day and every moment that I got with her, So I think that the main point of pointing out the self-sabotaging and the low self-esteem and all that is that we have to be aware of it, because we're responsible for our mental health. We are. We might not be the cause of it, and I almost guarantee that we're not. My depression is, I got a chemical imbalance in my brain. Okay. I do what I do. I take my medicine because I'm responsible for helping and dealing with my depression. That's me. That's my responsibility. And some people are going to send me some hate mail on this or hate comments. No, you're not responsible. Yeah, you are responsible. In my humble opinion, you are responsible for taking care of yourself. You have to learn how to do that, because you cannot love the people in your life the way you want to love them if you don't love yourself. That's just the truth. You can't. And that brings up like another thing that people do when they are suffering from low self-esteem or they're self-sabotaging. People have their addictions. Okay. I'm here to tell you that I am an alcoholic. I drink daily. I don't drink the 10 that I used to drink. I'm down to 1 or 2, but once you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic for life. You're an addict for life. That's just how it works. And for me, I realized that putting up that wall of alcohol allowed me to be the person I was on the inside without any fear of any repercussions, because my innovations were all gone. So I could laugh, I could tell the jokes, I could be fun, I could put myself out there and not have the fear accompany it. Nowadays, I still put myself out there, but I don't drink as much because I'm learning to accept myself for who I am. So for those of you who are going, oh, it's just another person who's saying, you have to blaming everything on how I live my life. No, listen, I'm blaming my problems on the way I lived my life. Okay. My problems got to the point that they are because I didn't recognize them soon enough. And I'm telling you now, the reason I do these videos is to help you recognize what might be going on in your life and to encourage you and give you material or steps that you can take to try to fix those things that are going on with you. Because again, like I said, you have to start fixing yourself. You can't fix anybody else. You just have to fix yourself. And recommend, you guys, there's nothing wrong with therapy. Nothing wrong with it. I have a great therapist. I do my weekly check-ins. I have for years. Well, on and off for a lot of years, but I've been pretty consistent for the last, since I lost my friend Shannon. I've been in therapy weekly. And I think that really would help. I mean, if you don't want to go to therapy or you don't believe in therapy or there's a situation you just can't go, find somebody to talk to. Find anybody you can talk to. If you have to talk to your teddy bear, talk to your teddy bear, okay? Because they don't talk back, Just kidding. Anyway, you can always please send in your comments and concerns, and I will address them, and I will get them, out on my next update. I'm trying to be more consistent, but I'm having timing issues because I'm still self-sabotaging in some ways, and I have to work on that. I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm a work in progress. So as always, please, please, please like and subscribe. It will help me out immensely if you could do that. And be kind to yourself. Love yourself, okay? Be kind and have faith in yourself. All right, y'all. See you next week. Bye-bye.